Welcome back to the eSports Report. Jack joined by Max, live here in the studio. Obviously, this great show is presented by the Xbox One, the official console of Major League Gaming. We broke down last night's matches, all the action we saw. Obviously, some James Bond type of stuff coming out of Epsilon. 0-7. Fortunately for them, they will not be playing tonight. They'll have some time to maybe patch up some of their weak spots. A lot of their weak spots they've been having so far in Season 3. Let's take a look at tonight's schedule. Max, break it down for me. What action will we be seeing?
I mean, our big top three teams in Season 3 will be in action tonight. Elevate versus Optic Gaming. They'll be kicking it off at 6 o'clock. If you guys missed it yesterday, we made a little bit of a change to our schedule. At 7:10, 10 past 7, not 7 o'clock, Jack. Denial eSports, Wolfpack versus the Boys in Blue. That's going to be a huge matchup.
That is going to be a good one.
FaZe Clan at 8:20 will face off against TCM Gaming. Also a huge matchup. Clayster taking on his old teammates at Ace and TP from the cold days. And then 9:30, Rise Nation versus Team Orbit. Burns gets to take his revenge out against his ex-team.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at this one. Elevate now beginning to show some life against Optic Nation, a team that has been among some criticism from their fans, especially you've seen Crimsix make a thread on Reddit Optic Gaming talking about, hey, things aren't horrible. There's nothing you need to worry about yet. We've been a little bit inconsistent in some of the online tournaments. We had some internet issues. We had some scheduling conflicts. They're still a perfect 6-0 right now in Season 3. Denial versus Envy, two teams vying for the top few positions in the league. Can Envy break into the top 4? 8:20 p.m. FaZe versus TCM. Obviously, Clayster up against Aches and TP. Always a great matchup to watch. And then finally at 9:30, Rise Nation. Some major roster changes in the last week. Orbit, some major roster changes in the last week. You won't want to miss that one. But Max, game number 1, Elevate versus Optic Gaming. Can Elevate hand OG their first loss?
I mean, it'll be really tough. Elevate, a team on the rise, like we said, finally cracking into that top 6. They brought TJ back. I thought it was really weird letting him go at the end of Season 2 after the X Games, placing bronze.
Yep. Very
Very strong season for them. They let go with Temp and TJ, arguably two of their best players. I mean, I think he fits the team a little better than Apathy. A little more explosive in my right, I think. You know, better in Uplink, in my opinion. Our Uplink Season 2 player of the season.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, an S&D is just an absolute beast. But, I mean, like I said, is there anything wrong with OG? No, not at all. I mean, still, 6-0. They did lose UMG Dallas to FaZe. FaZe were just on a mission to win that event. I don't care what team you put together. I mean, their biggest worry, though, is still S&D. It's been their weakest game mode all throughout AW, but this respawn battle is going to be insane.
Yeah, especially if Saints can continue to impress for Elevate. Going to come down to Slacked, staying alive inside that hill for his squad. On the other side of things, Optic Gaming, they really just need to begin to get on the same page. You've seen a lot of distractions for them, focus on their game. There's a reason they've won 7 events so far in AW. They got to keep pushing here in Season 3. My biggest worry has to be Search and Destroy. If Elevate can really just sneak a respawn and then cause some hectic plays and cause some crazy stuff that maybe Optic Gaming isn't expecting to sneak some S&D rounds, that'll be the big thing. Also, can OG shut down TJ? He's been an absolute dominant player so far in Season 3, picking it up in basically every single stat category.
Well, yeah, and the Scuff 10K too. TJ clutched a huge 1v4 against Optic Gaming to eliminate
them. And Saints had a 1v3.
Yeah, so Elevate, that clutch factor is huge. OG kind of getting clutched up on in the past couple of weeks in competitive Call of Duty. Havoc rings the bell a little bit at UMG Dallas.
Yeah.
Saints and TJ, going to be an exciting matchup. I don't know if it's their hardest matchup yet. I think FaZe really was, OG's toughest matchup, but they handled them really easily 3-0. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that one plays out.
Yep.
But my money, I'd love to see a Game 5.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely has the potential to do so. That's your 6 o'clock matchup. The next one after that, though, Envy going up against Denial. Now, Envy, frustrating night last night with some connection issues. Max, they want to bounce back on this one. It's our Scuff Showdown. Have a chance to win some great prizes from Scuff Gaming.
Yeah, so excited to see how this one plays out. One of the best matches so far of all Season 3. Like you said, retweet there for Denial and Temp. And then favorite on your right for the captain, Envy, JCap, and the Boys in Blue. 7:10. Don't miss it here on MLG.TV/Pro League. Jack, talk to me. Who do you think takes this one?
Really, Denial. Looking so strong in Search and Destroy so far in Season 3. If they can just shut down JCap in that respawn game mode in game number 1 and really just win those sub-battles inside the hill, expect Hook to be a major player in this series. Also, Temp, if he can continue to be consistent for Denial, that's a key to victory for them. We saw at UMG Dallas when they began to struggle, it was when Temp had slow starts. They could not afford to have that one. Also replays. He just can't go double negative, man. He just needs to get those gunfights inside the hill in Denial's favor. On the other side of things, Envy, still perfect in uplink. That's basically a win that they can expect to have. If they can win that first hard point, Envy will put themselves in a good spot to sneak the series off the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and Denial are no pushover in uplink. We saw them steal one against OG at UMG Dallas, so probably their toughest matchup in uplink so far for this series for Envy there. But I mean, really tough loss last night to TK, having to fill in with Merc and Diabolic due to internet issues. S&D, they're not the favorites in that game mode. You know, Denial, like you said, looked really strong in S&D. Maps 1 and 3 really going to be key for Envy to take this series.
Really, this series could be such a better matchup. I mean, if JCap slays the way he needs to, and if Replayers can win the gunfights inside the hill, these could go so even.
Former teammates going up against each other
all the way through Game 5. I mean, it comes to mind, Hook, one of the best aggressive subs in all of AW. You have Looney and Aqua, that duo. So, like, the epitome of aggressive. Will flood through the hard point to kill you before you can even see it to ensure that his team gets the time. Octane, someone who's been so consistent through all of Season 2 and now Season 3, more than deserving of his spot on Envy. Expect to see him posting up and cutting players down left and right. You will not want to miss that one. Our Scuff Showdown for this evening, kicking off at 7:10 p.m. Matchup number 3. At 8:20, FaZe versus TCM. Max, does TCM stand a chance?
I mean,
they really stand a chance.
Stand a chance.
Do they stand a chance?
Yeah, they have a chance. But I mean, really, I'm so excited to see these old teammates square off. Clayster on FaZe taking on his old cold teammates in Aix and TP. You know, they've clashed with each other a couple times since then. Obviously, you know, UMG Philly rings to mind and Ghosts, but still, 3 of the best players in Call of Duty history battling against each other tonight. FaZe right now, Jack, are they the best team for you?
For me, it's really, it comes up to who shows up on what day. I mean, as we said in Call of Duty, it's really what mood are you in? How much sleep did you get last night? Are you in the right mindset? Are there too many distractions around you? How's your gun skill that day? Did you get enough warm-up time? It could go back and forth between OG right now. Obviously, FaZe making it look very easy there at UMG Dallas. Their hardpoint game mode, realistically for me, second to none right now. On solo hardpoint, they literally, it's almost impossible for them to lose, really just taking down anyone on that map, and their search and destroy has been insane as well. Zuma, for me, one of the top, I'd honestly say, because people say all the time, I hate when casters say top 5, Zuma, top 5 players for me right now in AW. He's making teams completely change up their play style because he's playing search and destroy so perfectly well, leading all of Season 3 in first blood percentage right now. Expect to see them do that all day long in their matchup versus TCM. On the other side of things, though, TCM really been flying under the radar right now. Beginning to heat up in Season 3. So what are some of their big match wins?
I mean, they take out Denial. That's probably their biggest win of Season 3 so far. They beat ISO, I believe, when they were playing with Llama God, so that's also a big win. They lost to OG, though. You know, kind of really threw that series away. Moose went off in that first Detroit hardpoint against OG.
11 kill streak.
Yeah. Ended up losing.
Nut stuff.
Kind of got destroyed in the S&D, and then really threw the uplink game away. So, tough loss there. I mean, they lose to Orbit and TK as well. Losing to TK is a real shocker. That's like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this team isn't as strong as we think it is, but tonight, you know, really tough matchup for them. Red Militia, do they take it? I don't know. I mean, Aix and TP are always a threat, though, Jack. No?
Yeah, Aix and TP always finding a way to make some series interesting. Now, Max, I got to ask, FaZe doing such a great job of just slaying in all its entirety in Season 3. But outside of slaying, people say, oh, well, slaying is everything, kills aren't everything. They do just as good a job of getting in the objective. Does TCM have the slaying power to match FaZe, or do you think FaZe is just going to dominate no matter what, and TCM just needs to get some big chain time in hard points?
I mean, Moose is playing great so far. Yeah. He's going to be really key to the series. Jerd, always playing like Jerd. King Jerd does what he wants. One of the most aggressive players in all of Call of Duty. So, be really tough. I think those two players where it really starts going up against like Attach and Enable. We'll see how that goes. But Aix and TP going up against, you know, Clay and Zuma, that's going to be even tougher in my opinion. So, exciting matchup. I'm so looking forward to watching this match at 8:20, Jack. But our 9:30 match, one that I'm, just for the storyline's sake, I'm so excited for this. After trading Burns from Orbit last night to Rise, they get to face off against each other, Jack, in our 9:30 match.
Yeah, Orbit going up against Rise. Burns versus TCM. Really the big story of this one. Burns tweeted yesterday, oh gosh, just left Orbit, and now we already have a matchup up against them. Should be interesting. First matchup, obviously, between these two teams since the trade. Burns and TCM, the two players that swapped. Let's take a look at their stats so far this season. Max, Who's really impressed you the most of these two players?
I mean, Burns has played a little bit more matches than TCM.
Yeah.
Take a look at their overall KDs. They're kind of close, but like I said, Burns has played more. Slayer rating, very close as well. S&D KD, though, Burns, notoriously just a very good S&D player. TCM, a 0.65. Really shocking. He had a 1.21, excuse me, going into matches last night, so kind of didn't do too well against Elevate. But then uplinks per game, Burns, that objective player, doing 2.75 uplinks per game, and then TCM averaging just 1. But like I said, multiple times, TCM has not played that many maps. Right now, you can't really say, oh, who won the trade? Burns, thinking long-term for Gfinity in the coming weeks. Rise, though, I mean, they are a struggling team. They're 1-5 so far, Jack.
Yeah, I think that the big thing to look at with these two teams is there's much more to it than just the statistics. Obviously, it's the best part to look at graphically, but when it comes down to these two teams, Orbit with Burns had some communication issues, the frustrations we saw in Drift, Search, and Destroy. How's that going to be fixed with TCM now on the lineup? How comfortable are they going to be as a team? Rise with 5 straight losses. They're going to Gfinity next week. They get to compete for the 100K. They are going to be firing on all cylinders going into that event. Expect to see them show up tonight. On the other side of things, though, does this Orbit team, does it look like they're going to pull things together, or do you think it's just going to be another floundering team in the bottom 4? I
mean, it's tough. I mean, think back to major trades that we've seen in Pro League. Denial and Envy. Everyone thought, Envy got the way better players than Zuma and Saints. Ended up Denial. They got the 2 better players in JCap and Clayster, world champions, obviously, in AW. But, I mean, think back to UMG Cali, right? Vicento, he makes that team on Orbit. He handpicks these 3 players, Burns, Accuracy, and Happy, to make a run.
Didn't work out.
Didn't last too long, a month or 2. So, Orbit right now, they're in a good spot to contend for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
TCM, is it the answer to all their problems? I'm not sure. Tonight will be a big indicator of that, though.
Well, that was a look at tonight's matches. Obviously, you can catch them all here on MLG.TV. The big competition that's been going on all season long has been the caster predictions between Benson, Puckett, Maven, and Mr. X.
Oh, Maven.
We have the results of last night's matches. Max, Maven, still struggling, to say the least.
Oh, Maven.
Down by 7 still.
That's my new catchphrase. Oh, Maven. Maven is quoted saying he will pick Epsilon until they win.
Didn't work out for him there.
No. They are now 007. Puckett, Matt, and Ben each get 1 on the board with FaZe, but TK end up upsetting Envy with their internet issues.
You can see no one expected that one.
Nope, no one at all. Elevate. Everyone picked that one right. Good job for everybody. And then Maven.
Woo!
The bald wizard himself, he picked it right.
Silver lining.
It's the silver lining for Maven in all of Season 3 so far. He's able to get that ISO win over Optic Nation, but everyone goes 2 for 4 on the day, so no changes really in the standings. Maven's still behind 7 points. Puckett, Matt, and Ben all tied with 28. Jack.
Yeah, Max hit the nail on the head right there. Obviously, everyone loves Maven. Great to see him struggling because it's just funnier when he's failing, to say the least. But
of course,
the big story of this matchup has to be Puckett, Matt, and Ben, all tied at 28. That's really where it gets interesting when we look at tonight's predictions. Puckett, the one making the bold moves here, Max, he's taken Envy over Denial and then Rise over Orbit. You think his picks are right here, or do you think Matt and Ben with the safer picks are in the right?
I mean, I think OG and FaZe are 2 to call easy. Puckett's kind of risking it for the biscuit here, picking the boys in blue in our Scuff Showdown at 7-10. I mean, Matt and Ben with the same picks, so if Puckett ends up losing, he'll fall behind by 1. Matt and Ben going up 1, obviously. And then, I mean, Rise, I don't know if he really knew that Burns and TCM were being traded back and forth between the 2 teams, but I think this game so far is just, that 931 is a toss-up, honestly.
Absolutely. There's a look at tonight's predictions. Could go either way. Denial versus Envy. I just can't wait for that series. I'm 100% going to be watching from home.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm so excited for all our matches tonight, honestly, Jack. I mean, let's take a look at our schedule one more time before we go into our Vulcan picks. 6 o'clock, Jack. Elevate taking on the Green Wall in Optic Gaming. 7-10, the Wolfpack versus the Boys in Blue in our Scuff Showdown. Then the Red Militia, they take on the TCM Empire. And then Burns and TCM get the clash on different teams.
Tonight's matchup stacking up to be an absolutely legendary night of Pro League. Do not go anywhere, though. We'll tell you who to pick in your Vulcan matches tonight. Don't go anywhere.